Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Tarrin.
Hi, boss. Do you know why I like calling you boss? Because I don't see you as a boss, really. I know you don't see yourself as a boss either. So I love riling you up, and I know I can with you.
Yeah, that's a good way to start this. I think I want to thank you for the enthusiasm and energy and love and humour you bring. The batch has, you're an integral part of the batch. We see a big future. We were talking about, like Rose was talking about you in her gratitude piece last week. She's just like, I love Tarrin, love her enthusiasm, love her energy. She's just there for kids. She was just singing from your hymn sheet, and then the same with Renee. I know you and Renee went through phases, but man, you really got there, and I know that there's so much respect. So we love you, and we love the relationship that Courtney and I personally have with you as well in that space, and to see little Tanner doing well. It's not that little, but Tanner doing well, and in those spaces, we're just really proud of you. So we appreciate having you.
And do you know why? Because I work for such an amazing educational sector. That's why I feel so loved here, from Renee to Rose to Sammy to Laura to Courtney to you to everybody that I've come into contact with, my amazing team that I work with there at the batch, every single one of them. It's a sense of belonging, it's home. That's what it feels like. It feels like home to me. Being
it's such a
part
cool
of
team
Future Foca.
that Ngāhi Raka team is so perfectly balanced.
It is. Please don't leave, ladies.
Yes, yeah. It's
you
so
guys are
perfectly
amazing.
Balanced. You've got obviously your energy, then you've got Michelle with the arts, and hasn't she blossomed?
Yes.
And then we've got Lindy, who's this calm energy.
Yes.
I always know what you get with her. And then we've got this young star, Maddie.
Yes.
It's just it's almost a dream team in that sense.
It is.
What's it been like building that space? Because you've been there, 18?
Yeah, about 18 months now. Yep.
What's it been like building that space for you? What's been some of the real highlights?
I think just relationships at the end of the day. I mean, those amazing ladies have just seen me cry so many times. They've just shared in joy. When we've succeeded in something, when Tanner or Patrick, my husband, have succeeded in something, everybody, it's not just the joy that just comes from me, it's from the team. So at the end of the day, it is home for me, it's my home away from home, really, at the end of the day. And those ladies make that place such a phenomenal place there to be. I want to come to work every morning, and it's a huge part because of them, and obviously the other tamariki as well that are there, and Rose and you, just the whole Future Focus
team. And your hair's
team.
Always like that too. It's immaculate like that all the time.
Of course, yes, absolutely not.
So home is a good segue. Let's go back to SA. Let's talk about your family back there. I know you've spoken to me about your brother and he did motorbike. What was he doing?
He raced quads.
Quads, yep. Yeah. So who's in the family there? Who's back home? Who is there?
So I have got a mum and a dad back home in South Africa. Very, very, I might cry. Don't make me cry, please. And yeah, they're back home. And then my brother and my sister, they have immigrated to New Zealand as well. My sister's actually moving from Auckland this weekend to move to Papamoa.
Oh, wow,
so
yay,
it's
cool.
Amazing with her son. And my brother's got an amazing wife and two beautiful girls here. and I've got an amazing husband, Patrick. You guys have met him. And my pride and joy, Tana. Everybody, if you know me, you know my boy, Tana. That's where my sun shines from at the end of the day. And just a bit of history about me. I have been teaching for 20 years. I don't know if you know, but I've actually got, I studied Montessori first initially, and then also got a bachelor's degree in education, so from ECE to primary school. And I've just been teaching for 20 years. I feel like I don't know anything better than teaching. If you had to take me out of the sector, I would be lost.
And what pulled you to teaching? What was the pull there?
I can't pinpoint. It's just been sort of from like 4 years old. I knew my whole life that that's what I wanted to be, was a teacher. There is I can't say there's like a big breakthrough in my life or something happened that made me want to. It's just something that's been embedded in me my whole life.
Relationships, though, because you're so good at it. Why? Where's that come from?
I definitely think from my whānau, from home. Relationships for me is so vital, so important. We are a very tight-knit family. People ask me, what do you miss about South Africa? And I'm like, I don't miss my parents, and it's because I speak to my parents every single day on FaceTime, and relationships. We've got an amazing support group in South Africa back home. I mean, we've just have loads of friends from church and not church, and from racing days, from Patrick's side of the family. We've just got like a variety of people, and just relationships have always just been vital for me. And it's just my mum and dad are just so evident in our lives and in our children's lives as well. And just growing up, they were always there for us.
Wow.
My dad and my mum had worked their whole lives so that we could have the best of the best growing up, and we just want that for our kids as well now.
What did mum and dad do?
My dad is a plumber. He ran a very successful plumbing business in South Africa for 50 years, and then my mum is a real estate agent. So she also, I suppose, if you're looking at that in terms of relationships, they also relationships with people all the time. I suppose also just growing up, seeing how they interacted with people, humbling, being yourself, being kind to people, taking the time to stop and chat to people no matter how busy you are. So just relationships have just been incorporated from a young age. I don't know any better, really.
Yes. Well, that's pretty evident. I think right from day dot, you're an open book. You know what you get with you. You're open to sharing. You're open to learning. That's what's such a powerful piece of your teaching arsenal, is that you're so open to learning. Kudos to mum and dad and how they've obviously raised you and your siblings in that space, because it really shines through for children. I mean, we've just been talking about a parent and you looking to support them and through a tough time and stuff. So yes, shout out to your parents for that one for sure. So let's just go into this space of teaching. What really drives you in when it comes to working with children?
My drive. My passion is to see children succeed. And succeeding, how you see succeeding might be different to how I see succeeding and how parents see kids succeeding. My driving force at the end of the day is for them to just do well. And I have still got relationships from the past, and it's so nice to see how kids have grown and developed when they're like 20 years old. So at the end of the day, I just want to see children succeed. That is, for me, it's a big, big, big thing for me. It really is a big thing for me.
When we talk about succeeding, you know, what is success for you? What does that look and feel like?
I think definitely being emotionally strong, being independent, but knowing that you've got a team as well that you can rely on. It's not just about me. And I feel like success for a child going to school is having those relationships around them, having people build them up, allowing them to also just sort of go into primary school. I know I'm harping a lot on primary school, but that is also sort of my passion for the tamariki moving from ECE to primary school. And it is just so vital for them at the end of the day to be emotionally stable, independent, all of the good stuff, you know, not in terms of like your academics and stuff, because that stuff is all going to come at a later stage. It's being able to, you know, for them to go and pick up their bags, for them being able to tie their own shoe, putting on their own jumper. That's where the independence stands from at the end of the day. You know, that they are capable of doing things for themselves.
Once they figure that out, and what you're saying is, once they figure out that it's on them, that they can do it themselves, the academics come.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's just having that really strong base, like what you were saying,
Foundation.
and it's really cool because I see that in action with the Batch Ngāhi team. You know, there's a lot of opportunity for independence. It's not rushed. The environment's not rushed. You know, I always walk in and there's just lots of engagement, and you can feel that there's just, and even when there is times of peak traffic, dare I say, you guys have an ability to just bring it back down and bring them back down into that space, and it's just nice and calm.
And I think, like you say, also just allowing different opportunities for different children. You know, you've got a child up here that's just sort of wants to go and write and read and this, then you've got a child maybe at the same age that emotionally they just sort of feel emotionally lost, you know? So for me, success is also then coming and knowing that that child that is emotionally just sort of you know, not where we perhaps maybe want them to be. Like, no, that's not okay. You know, we need to meet every child's needs at the end of the day. And it's also for us to also just change our teaching practice that is flexible to those children. Because you're not the same as me. I'm not the same as you. And we need to remember that we cannot be comparing children to the same age. Kids have all got different needs, and we need to meet those needs.
How do you meet them? I know what you mean, but like, how do you actually meet them?
You know, again, like saying with a sort of like a child that is emotionally sort of upset. It's then getting into their space, getting onto their level. You know, embracing them. Sometimes those children don't want to be held in the moment, but it's just sitting next to them and being, hey, buddy, I'm here. Know that I'm here. When you're ready, I'm here to support you. And it changes the tune of a child quite quickly to know that they've got that support there. If we just leave those children and just, you know, allow them to just sort of self-regulate, which is good, but sometimes children need that comfort to know that you are there for them, you know, and when they're ready, they will then come to you for a cuddle.
That sensitivity space and dealing with that, and it is, I mean, I've seen you guys do it with so many children, even me, like I'm that, I peeved off and I'm quite sensitive in spaces, but knowing that someone's there is so critical. You know, that's the real challenge, is that that children, that we can give children space and time to be upset. I'm sad, my mum's just gone again, I don't want to be here really, but actually I have no choice. And also knowing, soon I'm going to be able to play cars with my friends and going to the sandpit and things. But the teacher's role of just being there, or whoever it is actually, the supporter's role, just to be there in the background saying, hey, I'm here.
It's okay. It's okay. I know how you feel, you know, because we do.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to go to work every single day, you know, and I think it's also important to acknowledge those feelings and to let them know that it's okay to cry. You know, we also often, well, I'm sure you probably know as well, growing up, it's very much that you're not allowed to show your feelings, harden up, you're okay, move on type of thing. And it's just, kids don't need that. They need that love. They need that support. They need to know that once they leave their whānau, that we are their whānau and we are their safe place when they're there at the centre. And I feel strongly about that it's just, then you've got other children that are very, very heightened, you know, and they can just be very heightened at times. And again, it's knowing how to deal with them in a loving way.
Yeah, they're go, yes.
And eventually, you can just imagine you have to race a race car every single day at 200 kilometers per hour. You're going to get tired if you have to do that. And being up there has to come down.
Yes.
So again, it's supporting those children as well, you know, and then your in-betweeners, your children that also need your attention.
And what does that look like? Because the in-betweeners are, you know, they can often go missing, right? We can just assume, they're off doing their thing and they're all good. But actually, as a skilled teacher, we know, and we never let that happen, right?
No, we don't. And I think that's also what's so amazing about Future Focus as well, is that we've got the time, we've been given the time to be with those children. Your children that are in the background, your okay children and your very heightened children. And it's just knowing those kids, knowing those needs in the moments and just supporting and just serving, really, you know, just being there for them and their families.
Yes. And what about, that's a good movement into it. Like, because in primary, I just saw the kids really, and I caught up with the parents when it was parent-teacher interviews. Where in early childhood we see the parents every single day. You know, that you can't just drop the baby at the gate and then walk off. You know, what does it take to be successful in dealing with parents day in day out like we do? What do you do in that space?
For me, I think it's my work is not my work. It's not my job. It's my passion. So I look forward to coming to work. I look forward to dealing with parents in the morning. I look forward to dealing with children as well. And I think that's also the difference. If you've got somebody that is just there for the sake of being there and not loving your work, you can see that in a person.
Yes.
You can. You can see that they're down, they don't want to come to work. So it's just, for me, it's a love for me to be there at the centre and to deal with children from ECE. Any child, actually, really. Doesn't matter how old they are, you know. And it's just taking that time out for the parents.
Yes.
And it's also just, you know, being, hey, this can wait. Let me just step back and engage with their parents. That's how you build relationships at the end of the day, when you also incorporate that and you show parents that, hey, you actually care about them. And it's not just about their children, it's about them as well. And I think that is also the core roots at the end of the day, to be able to help a child throughout the day, and that sets a precedent for children and for whānau. You also don't want a family to come in and a teacher's not happy, and then they have to go back and leave and be like, oh,
I've left my child.
You know, or what have I done that's I feel that way at the end of the day. So it's, you want to know that your child is being left with somebody that loves their career their job, their passion. It's their passion.
Let's just go back, because your dad, you said before, you've said to me before, said before that your dad spoke about no matter, when you were nervous, that no matter what, kids just need to be loved. It doesn't even matter what country. Do you prove that true every day? Is that the real story?
I think I do. I would hope so.
I know you do, but I want to hear it from
I
your,
mean, I think it's just my love for kids, really, at the end of the day. I think we are very critical of ourselves,
Yes.
and I often go home and I'm like, how can I have made this day better? Or how could I have changed that situation? A lot of like reflecting when I go home. It's not just that I leave and I just sort of like switch off. It doesn't work that way for me. So I find that quite a difficult question,
Because you've got to, like you've just spoken about, see what love looks like to a child who's heightened, to a child who's crying, to a child who's in the middle, to a child who's just wants to be by themselves. The interpretation of love is actually can be hard in relation to what a child needs, and a 2-year-old to a 4-year-old, and or a
completely
5-year-old,
different,
or a baby to a one, like 6-month-old to an 18-month-old, and what I'm really interested to see is, or listen to from your end is, what does it look like in the different realms? So we've got the child over there, or this, or the heightened, or whatever. What does love look like for those different kids?
I think just embracing them, I feel that no matter where, if a child is here or here or here, majority of the kids just sort of want cuddles. And the thing is, with those children that are up here, it is that relationship that's been built. They also might not then just go to, I'm just saying you, for example, if you haven't been there and you haven't built that relationship there with them, they might be like, hey, Tamad, I don't know who you are, stay away. And that's perfectly okay.
Yes.
Definitely, just that embrace.
That touch, yeah.
Yeah.
And you are, in fact, the team's just so good at it in terms of getting to kids' levels and just being there, being available.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what love is, right?
Yeah.
Availability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're busy changing a nappy here and you've got somebody calling your name here and you've got another person calling your name here and another child calling your name there. I often say, like, I wish I was an octopus, that I had just so many tentacles to be like, hey, come here,
Yeah.
And it's just embracing them and just being there for each child. I also often sometimes feel that parents don't realize, how many times we get called in the daytime. You've got 37 children and they're calling you 10 times a day each child. And that's, I feel like my brain is just wired all over the place. I feel like that's how God has just made me to listen from behind and all over at the end of the day. And it's cool. It's so cool.
It is a superpower. I mean,
so amazing.
You get so attuned to their voices. You know if they're crying, if they're laughing, if they're celebrating, or they're frustrated, and you can quickly adapt.
Yes.
The knowledge of that child is available to me. You can go over, right? Oh, I know that this child needs this, and blah blah blah. And, it's actually really cool to see in action. What about Tanner? I know he's just he's your baby, and I want to give him some spotlight here because I know he means so much to you.
Oh, yeah. My boy, he is just phenomenal. He has just adapted to being in a new country and just to see him flourish. Like, he's just flourished in every area. He's a kid that just makes friends wherever he goes. And just the pure heart that little boy has. It is amazing. He just wants to stop and help this one and help that one, and I'm like, Tanner, like it costs money to do all these things, you know. And his little joke says to me, "But mummy," I'm like, "Tanner, does money grow on trees?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, paper does actually grow on trees, you know? So he is a jokester. It's that kid is just a jokester. He loves seeing people happy. Relationships are also just so important. He's got his little circle and his little connection. And he's just doing so well. He just makes me so proud. He is sporty. I do wish that I had more time with him, you know, in the afternoons to be able to just explore different areas of sports and stuff for him. And he just wants to do everything. Triathlons, riding bicycles, riding motorbikes, you put it there, he wants to give that a go. So I think he's also still trying to find his niche at the moment. He's definitely into football. He loves his football. And riding bikes as well. So I think we might veer down that avenue. So look out, New Zealand, you might have the next...
have another champion, eh?
Yep, absolutely. It's in the family, it's in our blood.
It's in the blood, it's in the blood. What about, I know leadership is certainly in your wheelhouse, and, you know, you've stepped into that kaimahi space, but, you know, what can you tell us about what this now looks like for you in your own career in leadership? I think also, again, you know, speaking about sort of South Africa, you know, we were so used to managing a classroom as such in daycare that it would be me and another sort of teacher as well. So for me, I love being in a leadership role. I do. I really do. I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing people thrive, and also just to be able to help and guide people. I can't tell you where I'm going to be in 10 years. I can just tell you where I'm going to be now. And it's just such a passion for me as well to be able to lead people and to guide people as well. I also definitely have a very soft spot for people coming from all overseas, not just South Africa, because I do feel that, you know, in this sector it's just so difficult, and it's just a change as well for people. And I want to show people that you can do this. You can be in a leadership role. You know, if you put your mind and your heart and your soul into that you are able to do that. And it honestly is my heart to just see people grow and develop and do well. And I feel that in a leadership position, I am able to do that. It does definitely sort of give me more leeway to build relationships with people. And not just our whānau as well, not just our kaiako there. I'm talking about relievers that come in, you know, when they come and they tell you these stories where they're here and their family are back wherever it is that they've come from. Like, it's heartbreaking. I could never imagine me leaving Patrick and Tanner and me having to come work. It is just, you know, it just is like such a soft spot for me, you know, and I want to build people up like that and just guide them and just show them that they're not alone. You know, I feel a lot of people come from overseas and they feel that they have to do it by themselves. Yes.
And you don't.
Yeah, that's just not accurate, is it?
No,
it's just not accurate. It's just having people around you. Again, we do that for children, right? We're there for children. We're available. We've just spoken about that, and we've got to do the same for our teaching teams. And it's not even coming from overseas. It's coming down from Auckland or coming from Hamilton or whatever. It's like
big change.
It's just big change. We've got to be there and be available. What do you think are some of the real strengths of your current leadership? Outside of relationships, what else are you good at in that leadership space?
I think communicating. I like to think that I am a good communicator. And again, like Renee's taught me that as well. You know, she's helped me a lot with that. I've learned heaps also from Rose, just being there, like with us, not not so long ago. Communication is key. I do feel that it's very, very, very vital. And I mean, it's hard, like it's a difficult question, you're asking very difficult stuff here, which is good, but it is reflection.
What about also, because I think you haven't seen it, but you're very good at empowering people to go out and be themselves. Like, think of our mate, Michelle, like, she's a real success story for you.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
She's so amazing.
But she's a real success story for you. And I do attribute it to, obviously, you and Renee and your guys' just willingness to get behind everything that she wants to do.
But see, for me, I feel like it's not like a job. Like, if you had asked me that, I wouldn't see it like that, because I think we just all uplift each other, and empower each other. It's not just me leading and guiding the team. I feel that they do the same for me as well.
Yes. But you said this word before, serve. And, I know Christianity is a strong piece in your guys' backgrounds as well. But what does serve mean?
Serving for me means being there for people, being available. Not just, I'm saying, if you need a meal, hey, call me up. No, it's not about that. It's about being available. When I'm tired, you know that you can pick the phone up and call me. And I'm not just talking about my family and immediate friends. I'm talking whānau as well. Our families from ECE, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
On a weekend, when a child is sick and they're like, hey, I'm not sure what to do, because we've got new mums coming in as well. And it's new and big for them. Just sending a text, hey, I suggest this, this, and this. Just being available to people at all times, even when I am low and tired. I get it. We all need to have rest, and but at the end of the day, it's just being there for other people. And many ways you can do that in prayer. You can do that just talking and communicating, just sending a message saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. I know that you're having a hard day. Your child's having a hard day as well. Just flicking a text to them and just supporting them. And that's...
I mean, that's very, admirable. I think being available, like you're saying, for families, especially mums. Mums they're hard on themselves. Yeah. They are a vulnerable piece of our community that we need to make sure that
they're okay as well.
Yeah, it is a tough old ask in that space. What about though, in terms of your Christianity background? Because I am, me personally, I'm not a practicing religious person, but I know it's important to you and I value it. What does church bring for you guys?
Church brings joy, hope, and it's just my place, my area where I can just give my all to the Lord. And I feel like it's not just in church, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people also just see Christianity as religion, and it's not. It's a personal relationship at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's that relationship, like you've got a relationship with me. And it's not just, we don't just have a relationship like texting or whatever it is. We can sit and have a proper chat and talk. And I feel like that is what I can do with the Lord as well. It is so vital to me. It is so important to me as a family. And the Lord has just seen me through many trials and tribulations in my life. And I've come up there.
I admire it. I do admire it. I admire it because I think... You talk about there's a strong pattern or theme through you as relationships, and having the relationship you do with the Lord in that space is critical. And if you don't have a good relationship with certain critical people in your life, you can't hope to practice having good relationships. So I I do admire it. And I think what I love is it's a living thing through you. You know, that's the cool thing. It's not hypocrisy. You know, it's not like, oh, Sunday I just go and that's it. You know, like it lives through you. That's the thing. And that for me is important for children, that we get to show them that who we are at home is who we are at mahi, is who we are at church, is who we are. And that's where I think your real strength as a person, as a individual, is that we know the Tarrin that we get. That's the cool thing. You know, I really, really admire that in that space. And I'm glad to give light to this, because I know it's an important part for you and Lindy, you know, and your families in that space. What about one thing I really want to know from you? How do I word this? What are those days as a mum, you know, a working mum? What do you do to get through that? Because I know we've spoken about that, and I think it's an important topic, because you love your son so much, but you give up a lot for us, and I want to say it, you know, we really, really appreciate it, and we love you. But what is it? What is the challenges there of being pulled in that way? And how do you get through it?
I think I definitely get through it by being at the center. Because when I look at a lot of children as well, like it just melts my heart. And as much as it's not my child that I can't be there for, and I'm saying because obviously we need to work, I don't know, I just sort of like project it onto the other kids, you know? And we have bad days, and it's just a simple gesture, like a smile. Or, you know, I love sometimes coming to the centre at 9 o'clock for my late shift, and they all just run to me and they're like, Tarrin, 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 Tarrin. And again, that's where the octopus needs to come, you know? And just that embrace and that hugging. And like, I know it's going to be okay to see me through. Definitely challenges, like I've said to you, you know, to be able to go and, you know, take my son to sports in the afternoon, and just, you know, but also in the same breath, like Future Focus has allowed that safe place, you know, that today we had to go to a hui there at Tana School, and you allowed that. You could have said, sorry, you know, we're in working hours and stuff, you can't go. And I'm sure there are heaps of sectors out there that are not for families. And I do feel that Future Focus give you the opportunity to be there for your kids. I feel that if I couldn't be there all the time for sports or whatever it is, I think maybe if you had asked me, this would be a lot different. But the fact that you do allow us to do this and to be part of our children's lives is important. I don't feel scared to know that I can be like, hey, Rose, or come to you and Courtney, or whatever it is. It's just, as much as you look very scary, I know you're a big teddy bear. It just really is, at the end of the day, like I know, like if I've got an issue that I know that I could come to you, and I have come to you, you know. We've had chats, and we've got a good relationship.
We love that, and just to be clear, I didn't allow it, Rose did. That's all on, that's
but
their teams.
I'm just saying, you know, you guys are for family at the end of the day, you know. So yes, Rose did allow it, but I mean, it could have easily been in our contract. Sorry, you're here to work, and that's it, you know.
But we can't portray to be for families and then not do that for our staff.
But I'm sure there are sectors out there that are like that.
But this is what I mean, like going back to your relationship with the Lord, like if we don't practice what we preach, it's just, I couldn't live with myself in that sense. Right? Like, it just, I couldn't wake up peaceful knowing that what I'm trying to push teachers to do and we won't allow that for our own teachers. That just doesn't make any
But that's
sense.
what I love about you guys. It is really genuinely something that I love about you guys, is that you guys are for family. I know that I could come to you and you just want to see us succeed. If it's here at Future Focus, if it's somewhere else, if it's overseas, like I honestly feel that, and I've told you this before to you and Courtney, that you guys are just phenomenal people.
Thank you.
I went to an amazing hairdresser not so long ago, and we had a big chat about you guys, just saying that I love working, and I didn't know she's friends with you guys.
Oh.
Nikki.
Oh, Nikki. Oh, cool.
And
Go and see Nikki down at our barber shack.
Yeah. Go there. She's
If
good.
you're going to look like this, go and see Nikki at barber shack,
But it's just hearing from outside people as well what phenomenal people you are. And I'm like, it's not just me. People love them all over,
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm just so thankful to be part of the Future Focus family. I don't want to say sector, because it is a family, really, at the end of the day.
We appreciate that. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. I know we're obviously driven and aspirational, but we're not at the expense of relationships. And I know for me personally, hypocrisy really drives me up the wall. That's why I love hearing your relationship with church and things, and then because I know I actually get to see that in our centres and things like that. That means a lot to me in that space, because what we are trying to do is literally let our people just be themselves and grow and succeed and do great things. I think
and you have.
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah. We've got things wrong.
Yeah.
But we've learned quick.
No, I don't think you've got things wrong. I think you've learned from things.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that you've got things wrong. It's a learning curve, If I had another word.
Yeah. No, I know
I
what
would
you
say
mean.
it, but it's just, and that's what I love about you guys. You guys are just amazing. You really, really are. It's just an amazing place to work.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Really,
Thank you.
is.
Thank you. What about? I'm always interested in your relationships with children with neurodiverse needs and other learning needs, additional learning needs, because you show a lot of patience in that space.
Really?
You build great relationships with children, and we know, like, for those that don't realise, like the Ministry of Education have told us 1 in 4 children coming into centres will have neurodiverse or learning needs, additional learning needs. 1 in 4. Since I've been in teaching, and probably you as well, that number has grown drastically.
Yeah. It really has.
But you have an extra gear when it comes to working with children like that. How do you? Well, where does that come from? That extra gear to just be so great for those children with additional needs.
I think it's just bringing it back to allowing them to succeed. I want to see those children succeed. It doesn't matter sort of what stage or phase that they are in their lives. They have the rights to that. And I'm very much for every child has the right to education, and it's just changing, like I said to you, being flexible really at the end of the day, and just being there and helping them in that moment. I can't say that there's also been like a specific moment in my life that's been life-changing. I feel that it's just children.
Yeah.
Just children in general, any child. Doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. If you've got money, if you don't have money, you're a child at the end of the day. And they're so vulnerable. And it is my responsibility. When I finished studying, like I took an oath that I'm there to protect those kids. And that's what I'll do. It doesn't matter what they're going through. I will protect those families, protect those children, and it's just being there for them.
And the crazy thing about what you're talking about, then I was able to go through as well, and we still do to this day, that burden doesn't feel heavy.
No.
That oath doesn't feel heavy.
Oh, no.
Because we know that we are a critical voice.
Yeah.
It is entirely our job to make sure that we interpret what they need, what families need, what whānau need, in that space. It's just so critical. That oath sounds heavy.
No,
but
it's not.
When you are a true blue teacher, when you are,
it's your passion.
It's
your
like
passion.
It just holds you so strong.
Yeah.
And you do make those calls, and I'm sure you have, just like myself. You have to make hard, heavy calls. Yeah. For the child.
Yeah.
You have to sometimes vouch for them against their own families.
That's
you have
the thing. We're there to advocate for them.
We just have to, and it's a tough role if you're not truly passionate about it. I think that's the thing, because you're such a passionate person around your role, just like myself. It's not a burden.
No,
we carry it.
At all.
It's a flame we carry, and that we're proud to carry.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Yes.
Than teaching.
Well, to wrap up, we always ask our guests about a child that had a major impact on them in their career. You don't have to name them, but we always ask what that impact was.
There's been so many children. There's been so many children that have impacted my life. There's been so many children. I can't pinpoint one specific child, to be honest with you. I've just been around the block for so long that I think it would be unfair to just kind of pinpoint one child. Because I feel, and that's what I'm saying, like having those relationships with those parents and seeing these children as adults now, and to see where they are. Like I love seeing that progress from when I taught them, from when they were 2 years old and they're now 18, 16. And, they're just thriving and just doing well. I can't say that there's one specific child. I've seen many great, good stories throughout the years. And just children that have just flourished in their lives.
What would some of those kids say about you?
I don't know. Why don't you ask them? I don't know. I think I'm also very critical, like I said, on myself at the end of the day. It's my passion. So maybe I reflect more on the negative than I do the positive.
I think they would say you're fun. I think that they'd say that they would have had a lot of fun with you. I think they would say that you lead with love. You carry your heart on your sleeve, like me. I think that's why we get on so well. I think they would say that they felt safe to be themselves, to be who they want to be.
That's a big one.
I think they would say that you help them feel brave. There are kids that I get to see that they get to take one step out on Monday and 2 steps out on Tuesday and Wednesday, 3 steps out, Thursday 4, Friday 5, then Monday come back round, back to 1.
Square one, yeah.
And every week I see that happen with you. I think you would find that some of those kids would say that you're probably one of the best teachers they've had, because what you bring to not just Future Focus, but to this beautiful sector is an exemplary model of how to absolutely just love and care for children. That's it. And I don't think we need to overcomplicate this role. Yes, we're teachers. Yeah. But love and care, that's the start point.
And I honestly feel that's also just the Lord in me,
Yep, I get
and
that.
that's what I strive for.
I get that. Well, Tarrin, I know this could probably go on for another hour, but Rose
we
might
do
ground
like
me.
chatting.
Yes, yeah.
You and
but I really appreciate the chance to talk to you. We look forward to a big future with you, and whether it's with us or somewhere else, hopefully with us, but if we can build you into other places, I think you've got huge opportunities are coming up in front of you, and the way that the Leadership Council reflects on you as a person, you are held in very high regard.
They're all amazing.
So we look forward to seeing that progress. But I want to thank you very much for who you are as an individual, as a person, mum, wife, teacher. But we really appreciate all that you do.
I salute you, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you, Tarrin.